Hey, everybody. Welcome to another live question and answer here at Broadway Upholstery School, Broadway Upholstery Supply, Upholstery on Broadway. We go by many names, but there's only two of us. And great timing, Jimmy. As it did turn off his cell phone. That's great. But that's okay. Jimmy's been known to make some mistakes before. But hello to Jimmy in the back. We'll get to you in a minute, Jimmy, but there's a project that we're going to get to. We made a promise to a new subscriber on the online classes that we were going to show kind of a makeshift showing of how to tie a wire edge seat. Usually they're on the front. I'm going to show you that. I have a picture of her chair that I'll show you when we get to that. But this one here that you see behind me is a side chair, Victorian side chair with the typical 8-way tie. I've stripped that back, stuck a regulator in it just to show you. What I'm going to do is I'm going to undo those ties, and I'm going to put like a makeshift wire edge on there to show you how it's tied. But also to let you know that you can sometimes switch over to an 8-way hand-tied spring without the wire edge. Sometimes I do that. I'm not a big fan of the wire edge, but they do serve a purpose, like an Eastlake furniture, a lot of times just to get the edges that, mainly when you see a wire edge, it's to get a corner and not a crown. That's what they're trying to do with that. So, but sometimes you can't get rid of it. Sometimes the frame's built too low that you need the wire edge, like on some design research furniture. They have wire edges to try to make it more comfortable. I'm not a big fan because a couple of reasons. You feel like you're kind of floating on it like this. And it's kind of an unsettling feeling when you're sitting on a sofa or a chair. And the other reason is they really break down really quick. There's just too much play, and you'll see why when I show you. I'll demonstrate why there's a lot of wear on the spring twine. But anyhow, before we get to that, Terry says good afternoon, and SG says good evening, and because I think they're in different time zones, right, Jimmy?
Yes,
I figured that one out all by myself.
Oh, you are.
Jimmy's off camera.
You are too good today.
And
you
can
my
see.
Good side?
Oh,
my other good side.
No, but we see
good
all
side.
the.
Which side is my good side? Okay.
Paper bag, mate.
We don't have any today.
I'm just
thankfully.
But over Jimmy's shoulder is all his fan mail, and it's still there. It's still turning yellow.
I'm waiting for a little bit of growth, people.
And we're still living off the nice. Who gave us that wonderful Starbucks gift card, Jimmy? Did you use that?
No, I haven't. I you know what? I had Starbucks pretty much every day this week, and I did not even use it.
Oh, come on. You got to use it, man.
I know. I keep, it's in my wallet next to my first dollar bill, so.
Next to the moths?
Yes, actually, it is. Yeah, I do got to kind of clean that up this week.
That's all right. I'm going to get to some of the questions and answers on YouTube. Randy, let's see. I agree. Let's see. Somebody said this about the upholstery show live transition last. Hold on a second. I lost it. Randy says, I agree. Gabriel says, I agree with Randy. I try to make it every Thursday. I was sad I had to be doing errands for this show, Pouts. I guess people really like to see it live because they're waiting for just like an implosion of Jimmy, probably more.
Yeah, that exactly.
Is that what they're waiting for? Hopefully he won't implode this session. Maybe that's what it is.
Always blame me for something. What else can you blame me for?
I won't blame you. I'm sorry. Janine said, as always, great thanks. She's referring to last week's show, which is great. Thank you. And of course, you guys know that if you're just tuning in, and if you're just looking at us for the first time, usually we have it a lot. There's many more graphics because Patrick is here doing all that. It's much more professional looking than it is right now. We're doing the best we can in a transitional sense.
Yeah, he's on tour while we're here.
So this is about sharpening, the tub chair, inside back prep and patterns. But Randy's talking about love the Scissor Pro 500. I think I might have shown that within that show. I'm not sure. All of a sudden, it's very hard to find one. That's interesting. I didn't know that. Well, like everything else seems to be getting hard to find.
Well,
these
talking
days.
About tires, there's going to be a shortage.
Polyurethane foam, I'm having a hard time with certain sizes, and I guess we're just going to have to live with it. Come up with other solutions, right?
Well, back to the old rolling of the newspapers. You look for edging. That's all we can do.
Yeah, there you go. Stuffing a cushion cheaply and effectively. Cecilia says, where could I get that down and feather pillow? I have a small project that would look great with that insert. Well, here's the thing. Bed and Bath, they have tons of these little down and feather throw pillows. And I think what I was showing in there is that when you add the down and feather, they kind of mesh better with other filling that might be in the cushion. Nothing else really works. Dacron does not work well. Cotton does not work well. But down and feather seems to mesh in no matter what the filling is better. And I think I was shown from the back cushions tend to, Dacron back cushions, even new ones, tend to fall down. They don't come back. So I was showing people how to fill with, I think, 2 or 3 throw pillows on the bottom. You unzip it, put them in. They're easy to work. You can fold them, 4 ways sometimes and just stuff them in. And then you can work it a little bit. And it's just a good solution. I'm not saying it's a professional solution. It's not why we do that. I know a lot of our audience are just people like me. One time you go on, try to figure something out, and you never go on again. So we just it's like a public service. Of course, there's a proper way to make it down and feather cushion. Lainey, she's referring to the womb chair restoration. I have a feeling this is going to be a favorite, Patrick, if Patrick's watching. Ashdown says, good evening from Ireland. John and Anne Marie. Hi, guys.
How's the COVID there?
Well, how is it doing over there, you guys? I'd like to know in Ireland. I heard that they were still in pretty much of a lockdown. Is that true? Are you guys easing up? Is it easing up over there?
Italy seems to be about the same. They're still, I think the numbers still may be high.
Okay, so we got, I answered that question from Cecilia. Now, Lainey says, fascinating watching your work. The way you explain the cuts and working the fabric is easily understood and helps build confidence that it can be achieved. I can't wait for the next session. She's talking about the womb chair. And I think I told you that womb chair, I have another one downstairs that I have to do. I'm kind of putting it off a little bit. But when a womb chair comes into the shop, I look at it and say, oh, I'll never be able to do this. Even me, I look at that chair and it's impossible. Because it just does what fabric doesn't want to do, going around curves, Jimmy, and around inside curves and, all that. It's the fabric is the key. And I think if you watch that, you'll see why the amazing wool stretches. You have to have a fabric that stretches on some pieces like that one. AZM says, I'm hesitant on old pillow stuffing. So do you assure yourself it's clean? For example, can I wash them or just spray them with alcohol? So I'm not sure if they're referring to their own cushions. I mean, if you're referring to your own old cushions, you know the history of that cushion, right? Are you referring to a customer's cushion that you're reupholstering their chair? To me, it's all upfront and honest. If somebody has a chair, they usually will be asking, or I'm offering, what exactly are you going to do on the chair? You're going to replace the filling? Sure, if you want, that's extra money. Is there any reason why we have to replace the filling? No, okay, then we'll keep it. That's a discussion you have with your client. As far as spraying cushions, I don't know. I don't do that. I'm not sure exactly what this is in reference to. I guess maybe if AZM can follow up, if they're looking, follow up is exactly what you mean. Because what I showed, I'm pretty sure what I showed on this one are brand new down and feather cushions, and they're fresh. They're really fresh. I think they came out of a bag, as a matter of fact. So they were clean. I believe that was one. We did a couple of those, so I hope I'm right. So I don't remember all 500 of the videos that we've done. I can't believe that we're almost 500. SG says, we're supposed to be coming out of lockdown Monday coming.
Oh, good.
But that's SG. Is SG in the United Kingdom?
Ah, okay.
Oh, great. Well, that's good news. That's really good news. I have a sister-in-law that's in England, in Yorkshire, and they've been in lockdown, man. They don't go anywhere. So great. I just hope the weather is cooperating at that point. I understand in UK now it's really not very good weather. So hopefully Monday coming, the weather will break too, and you guys really do deserve a break. we pray for our friends in India, though.
Oh my God.
Yeah. And I think Ireland is probably going to be, because of all the good work they're doing, hopefully be out of that lockdown soon. Okay, and SG says up. Oh, that's up north. I'm now in Devon. Okay, Yorkshire. I was talking about Yorkshire. Ashdown says yes, coming out of lockdown, Kevin. More restrictions will be lifted in June on June 7th. That's right around the corner, you guys, which is good. And vaccines are still being rolled out. So hopefully,
things really change quick.
So now let's go to the next question. Okay, so Diana says in reference to how to upholster the outside back of a dining room chair. Believe it or not, Jim, we got a lot of activity on that one.
The dining room chair?
Yeah.
Well, I think, people still who have the dining room chair and have that, they really don't want a classy chair to sit in to show off.
Yeah. So Diana says, just what I needed to see. I'm about to reupholster my antique chairs that have the same style of back. Thank you very much. Thank you.
I'd love to see
them. Diane also says, great video. Give me some extra info to use when I'm reupholstering my antique chairs. She was talking about how to upholster padding a chair. Now we get to Garten, how to upholster a Biedermeier chair part 2. Have never seen it done and explained as well with the horsehair fabric. Amazing look. Well, thank you very much. Let's see. It brings up, I have one more comment, but before I get to that one, somebody commented on the piano. We did a video on a piano bench slip seat, which I make look very easy. And that's, and the comment was, it was a wise guy comment. It was something like, oh, great. How to make something that's simple look difficult is what the comment was. But what's interesting about that,
upholstery lovers.
well, spoken like a true professional upholsterer, probably. But remember that we're teaching people who've never picked up a hammer also. But I will say something about a slip seat. Don't be fooled by slip seats. Even I was about to say they're the easiest thing that we do. Not really, because why aren't they easy? Because they move on you. They're moving.
Yeah.
They're not secure. Like that chair's right there is not going to move when you're upholstering it usually.
Right.
But a slip seat, it's so light, and you can't clamp it down like a wood project.
Right.
That doesn't work, right, Jimmy?
Right.
So it's like upholstering a rolling stone. And what's the old saying? A rolling stone gathers no moss.
Yes.
A rolling stone.
The Rolling Stones.
I think it's a rolling stone gathers no coconut fiber, isn't it, Jimmy? But the point is,
I can see that the camera's going dark.
We just lost all our audience with that one. Sorry.
Yeah. There you go.
I guess the point is
don't go on tour and think you're funny.
It's difficult rolling. It's difficult upholstering a rolling stone, is what I guess I'm trying to say.
Yeah, okay.
A slip seat's very similar to that.
Yeah, I'll go to Pinterest tonight.
I kind of like the wise guy comments. I probably shouldn't say this because I'm going to get a lot more of them, but
no, you won't.
Oh, so it's funny. Okay, the last YouTube question we have is, what kind of staple gun is that you're using? Can I use a battery stapler, or does it have to be an air gun? Well, Santa, how to upholster outside back for dining room chair. Another comment on that. That is a BEA staple gun that we're using in that, and that's a pneumatic gun, and I've talked about this before. That's a low pressure, or a gun that works on low pressure, which is really important because it doesn't jam, in other words. Most of the guns you get, other than that low pressure gun that we sell on the website, by the way, Upholstery on Broadway Upholstery Supply, sorry. That gun there, I don't think it's ever jammed on me, if you can believe that. And if you guys have used staple guns, pneumatic staple guns, or battery operated or electric, I didn't either. I didn't know about battery operated. Maybe she's just asking that. I don't.
Now you got me curious about that.
No, that's interesting because it would have more power than your spring one that you have there, Jimmy.
Yes.
Jim's got a hand stapler that he was using last week, Santa. So if you're watching, and Jimmy's going to be using that in a little while, we'll show you. We were really happy with the way that worked last week. Okay, now we get on to the Facebook forum, and as usual, I like to thank Jimmy as an administrator. Jimmy, you're always. Thank you for being.
I'm up 24/7 on that.
Thank you for being on the ball. How many people do you think we have on that so far?
I got a couple hundred, more than that. It feels like more than a couple hundred.
Yeah, and I like the fact that people really help one another on that, and that you're on the ball with you. You do a lot of the replies, which is great. So now this one is from Elizabeth, and I think Elizabeth just joined. She's just subscribed, and thank you very much, Elizabeth, to the online classes. And she said there's just one thing. She's looked through all the videos and hadn't seen a wire edge, how to tie a wire edge seat, which I promised her, because she's subscribed, that I would show her. And it brought up an idea that if anybody's on the fence about subscribing and they've got like a problem, maybe we can feature it on the question and answer, Jimmy.
Yeah, that'd be great. That would be that we could do that. Yeah.
And as usual, if there's live questions, we're going to try to answer those. If I can do everything at once, we're going to have to leave in a minute to show you. I want to show Elizabeth in a minute that chair once I get through the Facebook. So Kenson says, good afternoon from Trinidad.
Oh.
And he has the Trinidadian, is that the right word? Flag. And I like it, the flag. Have you ever seen the flag, Jimmy?
No.
Do you see the red and the blue? You see that?
I don't want to get too close and scare people.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
I like that. So welcome, and we have the Irish flag up there too.
Oh,
all
yes.
Right. Okay, so I want to show you a picture of Elizabeth's chair that she sent. I'm going to show you the front edge, I guess, first. And now I just want to show you the chair. Okay. Let's get to it. Let's finish up on the forum first before we get to the actual showing of her how to do this.
Yes.
Denise, did you see the post from Denise? She had a very interesting. She found an Indian head penny, I think.
Yes, I asked her if she was going to take a trip.
Look at this, you guys. Isn't that awesome?
I think that. When was the last time you found something?
No, I haven't found anything this old in a long time. This is a penny, 1902, you guys. That's incredible. I haven't found an antique coin or an old coin like that in a long time. And the chair she found it in is really unusual to find something in this. It's hardly, I don't even know where that would have fallen into. I think that's where she found it, down below there. It's really, usually you'd find an old wing chair or something.
Mm-hmm.
So let's go to, that was interesting. I think we're caught up with the Facebook. There are only 2 posts, you guys. Please feel free to post on there. That's where you're going to learn a lot from your fellow newbies and more, journeymen, and even professional upholsterers on the forum. So don't hesitate to do that. I think I covered everything. Let's go now to the project over here. I hope you guys are going to be able to see this. I can hold it up if I have to. I do want to hold it up right now. You'll see that this is a typical 8-way tie thin coil spring, and it doesn't have the wire edge. So what I'm going to do, if I did, you pull back, Jimmy, right now. I'm going to go grab my scissors. So I'm going to cut these twines. What I'm trying to do is make these independent artists. Wow. I need to make this demonstration. So I wanted to mention that on Elizabeth's chair, she can actually go to an 8-way tie. She can change it. She could take the wire edge out and go to an 8-way tie. That chair would transition to an 8-way tie without the wire edge, no problem. But she did want me to show you this, so I will. So on a wire edge seat, when you're tying, you want to take a little bit more than you would on an 8-way tie, regular 8-way tie. So what I do is go 1, 2, 3 and a half, at least 3.5 times on your twine, your ruby twine, by the way, right? And all I'm going to do, Jimmy, is I'm just going to tie this off down here, just as a demonstration purpose.
Now, what are you tying it to?
Well, the whole idea is the front edge. So what you would be doing, if people have seen my regular spring tie-in video, which is
Okay.
on this, one of the older ones.
Oh, I don't remember seeing it.
What I do is I will show people. This is just a temporary thing. But what I do is what we do is we draw out about on the back. We draw about 18 inches, and then we do with these little what they call I call eyeglasses. And then you'll have two 14-ounce tacks about halfway in on the wood on the top.
Right.
What you do is you go over the top of that, and then you pull this tight around the tack, and then you bang it in. So you have one long twine and one short twine.
Okay.
The short twine gets tied up to the top rung later. Okay, but with the long twine, so let's say we got the long twine coming out now onto a wire edge. So what I did something clever here. I don't even have the wire edge because I don't like doing them, and I don't do them. I don't do the new ones.
Okay.
If a custom job came in, I wouldn't do a wire edge. So I don't even have the wire. But I'm going to use a piece of ply grip just to demonstrate, right? It's just for demonstration purposes, you guys. You don't do this. Let's pretend this is the wire edge, and it's been clipped on here. It usually gets clipped on. There's these little clips or hard rings that they use, right? So try to get that up there just temporarily because the twine's going to do a good job in holding that down. So what we're going to do is I'm going to tie it to the top of the spring here. So you're coming from the back. You're going to be up at the top of the twine, okay? And then what you're going to do with the wire edge, you're going to come through the spring. Usually it comes down to about the third rung from the top. It depends on how big the spring is, Jimmy. But on this one here, it's the third rung from the top. And then now this is where it gets interesting. So what you do, I even saved the tacks from the other one. I'm going to undo the tacks from this one. These would be in about halfway or enough so that when you put tension on it, they don't pop up. You'll see in a minute. So here's the big difference right here. So you come down to the third rung, and then you pull this, right? And then you dress these tacks up like so, right? Can you hold that chair for a second? And then you didn't work out that great, but it'll suffice. Okay, now here's another important factor. When you have to come up here now and tie the wire edge. So you come underneath the twine that came down like that. And then you come up to the top, and then you tie this. And this is what you're going to measure. The height of this is usually about 3 inches, and you have to be consistent with the rest of the rows. You get that, Jimmy?
Yeah.
Tie this. This gets tied off. All right, and then you come back to this rung on the top and tie that, and then you come back within the body of the spring, and this is important. You tie another knot here where you came down before. Jimmy, you got that, Jimmy?
Yep.
You got it? You sure?
Yep.
Doesn't feel like it.
Yep.
And then you get a knot down in here. Why do I get a knot down in here? To try to save my main twines right here. And then the only other thing that you want to do after that, I hope Elizabeth can see what I'm doing here. I'm doing the best I can with what I have. Is you want to take another tack, like a 6-ounce tack. I'm actually going to take their 6-ounce tack that they have in their twine. They did it. I don't know why they did that because they didn't have a spring edge, but and then you're going to get it right in there. Nice shot, Jimmy. And then you're done. You can put that back. Now, that was a promise to Elizabeth. I hope that she got the basics down. But another promise is at some point we need to make a more extensive video from the very beginning, and do all the twines if somebody's interested. For anybody, I think that there are people out there that have wire edge seats and they want to keep them, especially on the East Lake ones. So we have a couple of more live comments. One, Randy says, "Sure, you sure that is a penny? Do it a bit of line of research. It may be something else." Is it a penny, Jimmy? Do you know?
I don't know. I mean, I looked at it. I was thinking of that like it was a nickel or something.
Jimmy does all of our research. He told me it
read-
was a penny. No, I'm just kidding. You want to Google it, Jimmy?
I mean, I'm surprised that it's not worth something. I mean, seriously.
You know what? I thought 1902 penny like that would be worth something.
Oh,
Definitely.
I wish I know a few people who do the coin collecting, and
Do you know what the most? I do know, and if you want to check this, Randy, you can. The rarest coin is a pine tree penny from Massachusetts. The first coin struck in Massachusetts.
Really?
And every once in a while, some guy's out in his garden, even around here, kicks, finds one. And do you know how much they're worth?
No.
Hundreds of thousands of dollars.
You're kidding.
Hundreds of thousands of dollars, depending on the condition.
Yeah.
Can
I
you
mean, something
believe it?
like that's been around that long. You kind of wonder how.
Well, you're talking late 1600s.
Yes. So
But in England, I think, let's see, who's calling me? SG's probably laughing at me about an old penny at 1600s. They have pennies over there from what, the 1200s.
Well, you'd like to think you made, you did something, you found something worth the value.
Yeah. So Mary Todd said, I just watched the Fundamentals of Upholstery. It's so helpful. At what stage projects would you prefer to use tacks instead of staples? Well, let me read that again. She wants to know at what stages projects would you prefer to use tacks instead of staples? I have to say, on museum pieces, you have to use tacks. I mean, you can't be working for the Museum of Fine Arts and be using staples. They want you to, not only do they want you to use tacks, Jimmy, they want you to use the same tacks at the chair head, and we're talking upholstery tacks.
Oh God!
And you need to put them in the same holes. That they want them in the same holes. That's a level of work though that doesn't come my way a lot, to be honest. There are people that do that, and you could have an upholsterer doing that who spends 2 or 3 years on one project. That's just how precise they want to be. Oh, Randy says, I think it looks like a $5 gold piece. Wow. Hey, you better let Denise know. She might have more of a treasure there than she realizes. All right, let's get to Jimmy now. Jimmy is sitting on a repair job that came in.
This is nice. Now tell me about the chair.
Well, Jimmy, that was a family's, it's great-grandmother's, and the bottom was coming out, and I repaired the bottom. It's a repair job. I didn't reupholster that, but the upholstery's in good shape, isn't it?
I'd say so, absolutely. I love the piece.
And then there's a chair behind it. Same thing. It has some French nails. They can see it probably. That's also a repair. Same repair. I had to retire the springs on the bottom and web it. And I'm getting a lot of these lately because I think people are they're watching their pennies, Jimmy, a little bit more. So.
Well, I think they've probably seen an awful lot of what is at a furniture store today, and I think they would rather say, I know this is better. I know this is a better frame.
Yeah.
I've had this 15 years. I'd rather stay with this. Because sometimes the style of the chair changes, and then you'll say, geez, now I got to change every chair. And why would they want to do that?
That's right. So, Jimmy, Denise came back. It is a 1902 Indian head penny, valued at about $15 to $30.
Okay. Well, we
could dream, can't we?
Well, we still go to Starbucks.
I think I told you guys the most expensive items I found in a chair. 3 of them in the same chair.
Really?
Was 2 Rolex watches and a gold coin from the first year of the United, a commemorative gold coin.
Okay.
Big gold, like bigger than a silver dollar.
Nice.
From the United Nations, the first year it was in operation. And the 2 Rolex watches, all out of the same chair. Isn't that unbelievable?
It is. I mean, how many times pennies from a few years ago and little odds and ends.
Each one would have been a find by itself, Anyhow, so we're going to get to Jimmy now. Unless I'm going to stick around here on the computer for a minute just to see if there's any questions. We'll see.
Would you like me to take this chair down for you, Mr. King?
If you can, be careful. That's a precious antique.
It is. I'm careful with everybody.
It's a precious antique. Don't bring it to the other 2 friends and saw it in half.
No. I think actually it should be your friends, my friends.
Mo and Curly are back there. You're going to cut it in half on me.
Did you see the...
That's what I'm talking about.
It was a Facebook... somebody put a picture of a plumbing job on Facebook, and it was something I made the remark of the Larry Curley School of Plumbing, and they kind of got a little laugh out
Well,
of
I
it.
got something better for you. Randy says, I love the white sofa, kid-free house, I hope. I'm not sure what she's talking about. But Jimmy, I saw, speaking of, funny things, I actually saw an electrical outlet put in a sink.
Really?
It was
Really? I'd like to see.
an active sink.
I want to see
inside the sink, like right next to, the plug right there. Can you believe that?
Well, actually, I saw a picture. This is in set, like say in a factory or something, but they have those eye wash stations.
Yeah.
Well, right above the eye wash station, sure enough, is the electrical plug with an extension, of course.
But isn't that dangerous?
Well, you figure you're not that far from danger,
I don't know. Jimmy, how are you doing on that? Why don't you show people?
Well, I just did I wasn't sure how.
Tell people how you did it, because you jumped ahead and you showed.
Well, I thought I was, kind of helping you out a little bit, but basically, last week we did the webbing, and of course we all stapled it all up using the pneumatic gun. Is that the Kevin Kennedy line of pneumatic guns or staple guns, rather?
Well, we have two on the Broadway Upholstery Supply. We have that BEA, which is a great low pressure gun, and also a handgun. And maybe you could hold the handgun up and talk a little bit about that. Which,
well,
are you impressed or what?
I like it because what happens is you can adjust the tension, and the tension is right here in the back. There is a dial. It goes a little high, a little to the right, a little to the left, of course. And of course, as you increase the tension, it obviously for the different projects you might be doing. I enjoy it. I thought it was very easy to handle, and I definitely will be using one in the future.
Thank you, Jimmy, for that. But Red, they're making fun here, which is funny because
making fun of us.
Well, me. And they
you.
should, because the white sofa is right over my right shoulder. My right shoulder. That sofa that's up on its end. Let me tell you guys the story of that sofa.
Go ahead, quick. You got 2 minutes. Go ahead.
Jimmy, that came out of a second floor. Were you there? Did you help me?
I think we were. I think you always give me those hard jobs.
It's not done on purpose, but that was we took that out of a second floor. I go over and I looked at it and I said, "There's no way this is going down the stairs," because there was a banister.
Right.
That it looked like it was built after the sofa went up. The banister comes down and the door couldn't open all the way. So there's no way. Either the banister has to come off or the door has to come off. So I had to hire a guy come out to take the door off to get the sofa out. We get into these situations sometimes. You guys should be aware if you're going to go into this business. Sometimes, you can lose money this way. The customer was fairly happy, was fairly okay with it. She actually helped me with the guy paying, to come over. It wasn't a regular door, Jimmy. That's why I needed somebody. It was one of those. I don't know if you've seen these new doors that they have with the hinges. They're not regular hinges at all. You need somebody that knows what they're doing to take the door off.
Well, do you remember our famous one with the one?
Why don't you tell them about it?
Well, one day Kevin asked me to make a delivery with him, and this particular sofa that was going to be delivered was a Danish design, I believe.
Yeah, it was mid-century.
Yeah, so a very high back and a very small seat, and we got to the location and we simply brought it up. That was no problem. But when it came to the door, we tried it. I think we were there for about 2 hours this particular time, and we were trying to turn it this way, come in, turn it that, kind of a combination of movements to see if we could get it through.
Now tell people how many different ways you can take a sofa out of a house.
Well,
there's a number.
Is there a number? I don't know what it is. I was kind of like perplexed that day.
16.
16.
There are 16 different ways you can get a sofa or a chair or out of a doorway or a window or whatever. And you want to hear them?
Yeah. Go ahead.
So one is there's 4 different ways. 4 different ways when the arm's coming out. Let's say the arm's coming out towards the door jamb.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so there's the way it's coming out. 1, 2, 3, 4. You just pivot it around. That's 4 ways. Then you turn it around and the arm's coming out the other way. That's another 4 ways. Then you turn it up on its end, and that's another 4 ways. And then you turn it up on its other end, and that's another 4 ways. So you have to, you have to be a mover too when you're on upholstery. I figured that really you do.
Well,
you have to know how to take things out. You want to pick you want to pick one of 16. We tried 16 ways that day.
Well, the problem being with this particular sofa.
Tell them why it didn't go out.
Well, you can tell the second half of the story with my carpentry skills, but the problem with the sofa was, other than the very high back, was the fact that you had very long legs for the sofa itself.
Yeah.
And so we had tried, like I say, for about 2 hours, tried this, turn it back up. How about this? Come back. Oh no. Honest to God, so you can continue with that, what we did.
Well, come to find out, it was taken in by a crane, Jimmy, through the window.
I love that customer.
It was like, you didn't tell people it was on like the 8th floor of a high rise.
Well, you and I had guessed that. How did they get it in? Because the problem being is that when you came into the condominium unit, it was a straight, typical door. There was nothing extra wide about the door at all. It was in a kind of a semi-narrow hallway, so it didn't give us any leeway to kind of turn, kind of, finagle something. And that, Kevin and I were like, "Oh my God,
it's crazy." Now, were you with me when we took out of the Charlestown, that sofa out of the apartment, and we couldn't get it down? Were you with me that time?
I wasn't.
I think it was Patrick. We're trying to get it down, couldn't get it down, and then the customer said, "Well, that banister is an antique banister. It's one of those winding ones, really nice." She said that they had to cut that in 2 pieces to get it up. And then I look underneath, and sure enough, there's like plates that they used to put it back.
Oh my God!
So I said, I'm not going to be able to cut this down. This is an antique banister. I can't believe that they did it. Right. So I brought it back up, and I asked the customer to go into the back room. I said, you're not going to want to see this. And I went to hit the arm of the sofa because I know I could fix it. I kept kicking it, and you asked Patrick, I could press 700 pounds with my legs, believe it or not. That's where all my strength is. I couldn't kick this arm off. The only thing I could do was it was so well constructed. The only thing I could do was loosen it. I loosened it, and that was enough to get it down the stairs, is that it was just loose enough to just had that much flex to go around. It was like that much that we needed, but I knew that. So really, you have to be very creative. And the thing is, you do sofas and you put up with this because they're the most profitable for all those who want to do this for a living. They are the most profitable. So let's go. Let's catch up on some before we get to you, Jimmy.
Yes.
We got a little distracted there, but it was because they're saying that I need glasses.
Randy decided to make a comment.
And I don't blame them. There it is, sitting there. I guess I just wanted to forget about it.
Yes. Basically, like, hanging somebody over the front porch.
There's a chair with it too, guys. It's just oversized. They're oversized. So let's catch up. SG said he clearly needs new glasses. And she's got a little icon with glasses. Looks like the Monopoly man.
Oh.
And okay. Gabriel says, hi, I'm late. SG says hello to Gabriel. I say hello. Gorgeous sofa. Mary Tyler says, Ashton says, give me Jimmy or 3 apprentices. There's a compliment for you,
Thank
Jimmy.
you. I appreciate that. I never thought that when I started taking a class here with Kevin, that I'd be here 7 years later. I haven't found the front door yet.
I'm laughing, Ashton, though, but are you referring to 3 apprentices named Mo, Larry, and Curly? Because I don't know if they get that on Island. Do they, Jimmy?
Well, I don't know. I think that
they get the 3 Stooges.
I hope they do. I mean, somebody have to explain the history of the 3 Stooges. My God, man.
And then Randy says, down is easy. Getting it back up is going to be more of a challenge.
Randy, what are you doing Saturday?
Down is easy. Yeah. Gravity is at least working in your favor. And then Daniel says, good evening. Good evening. Denise says, thanks for the wire edge demo. Okay, welcome, because I think Denise also was asking about that. I hope that gave it understanding. I had to use the ply grip for the wire edge because, like I said, I don't even have the wire edge here, and I don't have those clips because I don't use it. I do repair them. You can repair them. Those clips loosen up if you had one that you're reupholstering. You can just tighten them with a pair of pliers. But I don't have any need for them. Randy says, are you buying the plane ticket, Jimmy?
I have the money.
Where? Plane ticket to where? Hey, I got a funny story about a plane ticket. You guys want to hear it?
Yes. Go
Before we
ahead.
get to Jimmy? I knew a woman who worked for Pan Am.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of a sad story too, actually. And she was a bigwig executive at Pan Am. She'd take my classes, my upholstery classes.
Wow.
She was a great girl. And they had that awful tragedy with the Lockerbie. So tragic, And she Pan Am tried to survive after that. They did not want that. That was the premier airline in the world,
Yes.
if you remember.
Yes.
And they tried to not declare bankruptcy. They tried to keep it together. That was awful for the company. You can imagine what that was like. But anyhow, so my friend, my student offered me, she said, if we have these love seats on the jet, would you upholster them? And you'll get 2 tickets anywhere in the world. And so I said, oh, sure. So my brother-in-law and I upholstered these, and we got 2 plane tickets anywhere in the world, including Africa, the Orient, everywhere. And then they got hit again with something, money-wise. And she said, oh, you better use those tickets because the African road is out now. And then a week later, she said, you can't go to the Orient now. And then another week later, you can't go to Europe now. Well, bottom line, it came down to a shuttle trip to New York City, Jimmy.
Well, that's what you guys were, if you guys learned how to pack a little bit quicker.
Well,
maybe.
I mean, you could have gone to Africa on a safari
Australia.
And then that disappeared. The shuttle tickets went,
Oh, my God. Yeah, imagine getting stranded over there, though. That would have been really funny. Then they would have had to claim you as an exemption.
I didn't even think of that.
Yeah, I know. You and your brother would have been like, God,
Daniel says, I got a pair of safety glasses, cheap and good glasses. Oh, there you go.
Okay.
Are they prescriptions? What I want to know. Anyhow, Jimmy.
We have people who think they're funny now. You think they're funny now?
Jimmy, are you ready to show? Oh, you were talking about what you did on the burlap.
All I did was basically last week.
Well, wait a minute now. It's not all I did. There's a method to it. See if you can remember the method.
What
I mean,
method?
how did you?
You're supposed to narrate. I'm just supposed to
Well, you didn't. Okay, Vanna.
Yeah, Vanna. I was thinking about what's that show?
You think her job is easy, don't you, Vanna White? It's not easy, turning those letters. When she turned the wrong letter?
When they did it on Saturday Night Live, it was really funny, though.
I know that. What's the name? McCarthy. I know what you're talking about.
That was yeah.
Do that little swoop with your arm again, though, because you're a natural.
Yeah.
I spoke too soon. He just knocked his coffee over.
You're an ass.
So tell me what you did with the burlap.
Basically, I put the burlap on top and I made a nice, neat crease all around.
Right.
Nice and tight. So we're going to continue on with another mini lesson this week.
But my friend who criticized the piano bench that I made it look more difficult than it was would probably be satisfied with that answer, Jimmy.
Really?
But I'm not, so I'm going to come up there and show you. So this is what I like about somebody made a comment about the fundamentals of upholstery, that they liked it.
Yes. Yes.
So I break things down.
You should.
So first of all, we cut this 3 inches bigger than it's supposed to be.
Okay.
And then we can fold one side 1.5 inches and staple.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And then the other side, opposite, is used for your stretch side. Stretch staple, not fold and staple. You can't do that.
No, I didn't.
You want to stretch it. I know you didn't. You forget though. Stretch staple, and then you can fold it and staple the fold.
Okay.
Then you do the same thing here. You could fold one side and use this side as your open side or your stretch side. And it's a hand stretch, you guys. You don't use a lot of people want to use the webbing stretcher for the burlap. But that doesn't work.
That would.
So
but now here's the question. I mean, I do.
And then you just. On the corners, just doubled up. It's fine.
Right. Now, it's always front, back, and forward. It's not always side. You don't stretch on side to side.
You know what? I don't think that matters on that.
Okay.
On an ottoman that's open on all 4 sides, it doesn't matter. But oftentimes on chairs and sofas, I go from the back to the front.
Okay.
That's just a habit. And the reason for that is, Jimmy, good habits, right?
Yeah.
Is because you have to make cuts around posts. And it has to be stretched front to back before you make the cuts. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So that's another thing on the online classes that you're going to get, you don't get on YouTube. And I always say this, I love the YouTube, and we've done a lot of them, and I think it's great. And I think people have learned and can learn, and they don't have to buy the online classes. I understand that. But the online classes go into that type of detail.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, I think it's always the little things that make you understand a little bit better.
So, do you have anything else to say about the burlap?
No, I like it tight.
What about replacement? What else? Do you want to use something else instead of burlap? Why not nylon? Nylon's strong.
Nylon.
Why wouldn't you use nylon?
Nylon.
Doesn't the resiliency? It's too good, right? Yeah. And it's too good initially, right?
And it would just shred after time.
And it does shred. When it gets old, it just shreds. Burlap doesn't do that.
Well, I mean, look at the settee that I did. That fabric was kind of a nylon-y type.
Yep.
And that started. You can see how it was shredding.
Yeah.
Slowly over time. I mean, other than the fact it was 90 years old, but I mean, you can see how it was kind of tearing in the corners and at the edges.
Yeah. Do you have any other comments about the burlap?
No. I mean, I always liked it anyway. It's very strong, very resilient, and it does keep, prevent things from coming through. And I think this is like one of the first layers of defense with keeping your, getting the shape of the ottoman back to where you want it to be.
What do you think about the next thing that you want to do, the next step?
Well, I know you and I had discussed, and we talked about how we're going to layer it depending on what you had here, but
we talked a little bit about design. You want it pulled over, and we're going to have a V pleat
yes.
on each corner because they're round. You do have to think ahead when you're upholstering.
Yes, because you are going to be cutting the fabric, and you don't want to realize you're going to cut it.
Right, and this came to me with no filling on it, so we have to imagine what that's going to look like. So yeah. I just want to tell people what it's going to look like. So you can hold it up this way.
Okay.
It's going to look like he's going to have a crown. He's going to have a crown on this, and the fabric's going to cascade over here, and on the corners. It's going to have a pleat that comes down like this, and you need a base welt. Did I tell you that? You need a base welt.
Yes, you did mention that quickly.
So now, what do you think about the next step? What would you use? I'm just testing you. I'm not putting you on the spot or anything.
Well, I don't think we need rubber sausage. Did you say that?
You probably will need something like that, but there's something you need to do first before that.
Camber?
No. Edge roll. So grab some edge roll. And you can decide what type of edge roll. How big do you think you need? 3 sizes. What size do you think you need, Jimmy?
Oh, let's see.
Well, Jimmy's over there on the other side of the shop. I'll tell you that I put a mouse inside of his project. So when he comes over here, we'll see if he is a man or a mouse. Anyhow.
Oh, you died quick.
We have Ashton is begging Patrick to come back because we do lose ourselves in these little gags that we play and these little stories. Daniel says beef up the volume a little bit. If I knew how to do that, I would. Wait a minute. How's that? I don't know if that did anything. Hopefully I didn't go mute on you guys. Hold on a second. What else with this button? Uh-oh, this is dangerous, you guys, because I have no idea whether. Oh, here it is. Is that it? No. Oh, I'm poking fun at myself. Jimmy, watch out for the mouse. But that actually, if you guys have the online classes and you see Michelle's tub chair class, there's a segment in there where her kids must have put one of those really, they look real, those little fake mice, the plastic mice that look real, not the ones, the chintzy one. This was a authentically made fake mouse that scared me so much. I really jumped. It was, I don't know. I still don't know if Michelle did that. If she knew it was in there, did she do that? Was she pranking me? I don't know. If she was, she kept a straight face. She didn't laugh. But anyhow, we got more comments. Might be the Wi-Fi. Is that better? Yeah, Daniel says it's better. Thank you. I did something right. You guys, that was a dangerous move. I could have just knocked the whole system out there with that one thing that I did. So I have to be really careful.
What did you do here? You put
Jimmy's are you struggling, Jimmy, over there?
Struggling is not the word. You wired.
You didn't pass the intelligence test.
Oh my God! You wired something through the.
Jimmy's complaining about that. I wired something. I don't know what he's talking about.
Yeah.
Reminds me of another story.
Patrick is there. You'd be blaming him too.
Reminds me of another story. I had an electronics teacher in high school tell me this one. Still laughing at you. Terry saw the mouse in the chair, Jimmy,
Oh, yeah?
and she's still laughing at that one. So you know what? That is worth the price of a subscription, isn't it, Terry? For all the people who haven't subscribed, to see me jump, a grown man jump at the sight of, it wasn't
Kevin, you jump it.
at the sight of a mouse. It wasn't the sight of a mouse. Actually, I think I grabbed hold of it by its tail or something. It was a little bit more dramatic than that. How do you determine the correct size edge roll? Getting back to basics. That's what I like. We're gonna show Jimmy's trying to do that, right?
You wrapped the wire around. I'm afraid of touching it. I think I'm gonna disconnect the show.
Jimmy,
You're a piece of work.
what are you doing? Just cut it.
I'm trying to measure it out.
It's not electrical.
It isn't. What is it tied to that?
You know what you can? Are you using? You should use. There's 3 sizes over there, Jimmy. And the way we, Denise wants to know how we determine the size.
I already measured it out. 82
No, she's talking about thickness.
Well, what is
Do you like that? Do you think that's going to be substantial? Yeah. Okay, we'll use that then. I mean, Jimmy chose the middle one, and it's just to give you height. I'll switch back over here. He's looking for height for his ottoman, but he's thinking a middle edge roll would be good, and he's taken into consideration, Jimmy, right? The aesthetically, this is going to count as padding, really, or the overall look, or how thick it should be, right? So we're going to end up with probably padding up like this, and then a rollover like that. You don't want it any more. That stool's already high enough. Daniel says, sound is much better. Awesome. Okay, thank you. Did you see Jimmy? Jimmy is still struggling.
You're not Patrick. Okay?
I'm not helping him at all over there. Sometimes people just have to learn on their own, you know.
Oh, look who's
Sometimes
talking about that.
We're waiting, Jimmy. Though our whole audience worldwide is waiting for this moment where Jimmy is able to bring over that edge roll for this ottoman. All eyes are on the queen.
You know what? You're gonna wait till the show's over.
Anyhow, famous misspeak, right? Well, I won't go into that. See, this is where we need Patrick. This is where Patrick would say, "Get on subject, Dad." Is Patrick out there anywhere? No. Where is he?
He's probably investing his inheritance.
Do I need help? Do you need help, Jimmy?
Nope.
Oh, Daniel says, you could do it, Jimmy. Tick tock, tick tock. Denise is saying tick tock.
Everybody's funny, but nobody's a comedian.
With bated breath, somebody else, SG says.
This is probably going to be more, but that's okay.
I think we have a Houston. We had a problem.
Oh,
now we don't.
It's always easy for you, smartass.
Jimmy, this is YouTube now. We have.
Oh, I'm sorry.
And always say staple gun, not gun, when you're talking about the staple gun. Don't say gun.
What do we say?
Randy says, Patrick, the ringmaster, needs to return.
Oh, look it. You know, there's other shows on YouTube, okay?
Jimmy, show us how to put that on.
I'm not showing them anything. I'm
do you want me to show you?
I'm charging right now. Everybody cough up 10.
Daniel says it's going to look super nice, Jimmy. Good job. He's trying to get your good side now.
Oh, yeah. Actually, we need staples, so let's.
All right, Jim. So let's hold this up.
Okay.
So I want to show people this flange. Right. So first of all, there's 2 really basic things you need to know when you put an edge roll. Okay. Let's put it back up again. Okay. One is that it builds up.
Okay.
The other is that it takes the edge. Fill this edge, Jim.
Yeah, it's a
sharp.
Yeah.
Sharp. I mean, imagine what that would do to fabric over time. It would really do. So this is knowing that you want to make sure that this is just slightly over the edge. Okay. Slightly over the edge. I've seen it where it's too much. It's really bad. And if it's inside, Jimmy, if it's inside like this,
it's not going to protect.
It's not going to do anything. So just slightly outside. So what I want you to do, and I think it's good. You're going to start in a corner. Mm-hmm. So why don't you do this edge, or do a long edge?
How do we? You didn't show me how to do that last. What do we?
Well, let's show it live.
Okay.
So these guns has a spring loaded, right? You take this out all the way. Can you hand me those?
I want to raise those up.
And raise this up like this.
not as easy as I knew there was something trick to that.
Yeah, it's a little tricky.
Watch your hands.
Okay, try one. Make sure it works. How is it?
Yeah, fine.
Yeah. When you get to the corner, let me know. Watching Jimmy work. This is where it gets riveting. This is where Patrick on the online classes might play some music.
Well,
And
why
then-
don't you sing to them, Kevin?
Oh, no, they don't
and then
want
you're gonna
that.
probably start losing people. So
They don't want that.
Yeah.
And then we have some more comments. Randy says, "Well, it is a free show."
You know,
This is you know, if this was HBO, you guys would be getting charged.
yeah, it'd be
for this.
about $29.95 a month. There you go.
As he says, Denise, a predictive text. Oh, Dennis, sorry. Daniel says, memories. I don't know what that means. But anyhow, getting some good comments. See the tools Jimmy has. It's all in the wrist, Daniel says. Oh, Denise, I missed Denise's joke. She said, "We're on the edge roll of our seat."
She must know Randy.
Well, Randy's, I think of Randy's.
You know what?
Daniel says, pump it, Jimmy.
Look at where are these people's minds already? You know, it's amazing. We're having a family show, and what do they start doing?
Well, I think that's an
They
innocent
start
comment. I
getting
hope.
smart. That's what they start doing. You know that.
I think Daniel's giving you some good support. He encouraged you. You can do it, Jimmy. Daniel's got he's laughing, I think.
I think.
Where else do you get this entertainment? And as you guys can tell, we are not professional actors. We have never taken an acting class. Shakespearean actor? No, I don't think so. I have a funny story about a Shakespearean actor while Jimmy's doing that.
Okay,
Patrick
right.
Stewart, who plays Star Trek, the captain on Star Trek, Jimmy.
Yes.
When they hired him, he was a surprise hire to play that role. And,
Oh yeah. I didn't know
and
that.
everybody was afraid of him because he was a Shakespearean actor, you know.
Yeah, but he had that classy dialogue.
Oh,
He
yeah.
had that demeanor.
He was perfect for that job. Are you kidding me? So on his dressing room door, I heard that the director put in, "Warning, Shakespearean actor. Approach with care," you know, because nobody knew what to expect from him. But he's a great guy, nice guy.
Well, I mean, they're very disciplined, and he knew what he was doing. I mean, how long was that show on for?
Daniel says, "Heavy hands" with the thumb up. And you know who else was a Shakespearean actor? George Costanza on Seinfeld.
You kidding?
I can't remember his real name. Hold on. Did you go ahead? You went ahead of me, Jimmy.
I did.
Yeah.
Well, that's because you're talking so fast, and I'm all excited now. Well, you're not doing anything. Could you?
So the question is, because you have rounded corners, that's perfect, Jimmy.
Okay.
So let me just feel along here to see. You wanted a little bit here. You might want to correct that. But the
Okay.
question was, what if it's a straight corner? And yes, it depends on the size roll. The smaller rolls, you can actually form the corner and not cut it. But on these bigger rolls, you do have to cut it and then butt the next one in on a corner. But a rounded, Jimmy just went right around it. Looks nice, Jimmy. Nice
Thank you.
job.
Now, show me the staple again. How do you do that?
Well, let's show the difference. Well, hold on a second.
Can you do that?
Let's see if we can plug the compressor in. Oh my goodness. So Jimmy, why don't we switch to the big boy?
Oh, yeah. Now that I'm almost done.
I think you're going to need this.
Oh, yeah.
So I want to be honest about the limitations of that gun.
Yes, there
Okay.
is. Well, you have
So
the
why don't
difference.
you finish up?
Okay, talk about the difference.
You'll see in a minute what the limitations are.
Oh, I can feel it already.
Well, I mean, power. That's one thing. You get more power with that. You get the nozzle coming down. This is a long nose
Yes.
on this one. And even the ones that aren't long nose, they're much longer than this one. So that is a limitation for this gun, especially with what I'm about to show you for Jimmy, to get this roll tighter on here. This can't do it. This won't be able to do the perform in some performances. It won't do. So they're limited. But what I am impressed about this is that this is oak, and it's going through oak like nothing. I can't believe it. So let's catch up on some comments. Jimmy, you're getting all kinds of encouragement here.
Yeah, I know.
Good job, Jimmy.
My therapist said I'll get over that.
This is your therapy. Are you kidding me?
Is it my therapy?
Yeah.
Yeah. So basically, I'm supposed to be paying them.
I'm going to give you a break, and I'm going to cut this one.
You're going to be the nice guy today.
All right. Jimmy's measurement, you guys. He's about a yard off.
I'm generous with myself.
Now, when I was an apprentice, if I did that, I wouldn't hear the end of it all week long. That day after me.
I got to say in my defense that you had some wire wrapped around this thing. So obviously, I think you need to work on your tool assortment here, because I was afraid of deplugging this show, this Academy Award-winning show that you got.
Well, Jimmy, you wouldn't want to do that. We got a comment here from Fox, the Fox. Quick question. Do you have any videos on how to do an armless chair that dips on the top like the opposite of a wing chair? I don't think so, but I know what you're talking about. So you have to follow a different kind of a rule set with the chair that dips in the middle like that. You actually have to start stretching in the middle and then work out. Sometimes I can draw a stretch over if it's a straight top, but on that one there, you gotta stretch and then go a little bit at a time both ways. Daniel says couples therapy. Sorry, that was my compressor going off. Jimmy's finishing up, and then I'm going to show you why that has limitations, that gun.
Which one?
The handgun.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you already know it.
Some people watch YouTube just to watch people work. They love watching people work. There used to be these tapes before YouTube. They used to have these VHS tapes with construction workers. Kids used to love them. Remember those, Jimmy?
No, I never
Little
really.
boys, they watch it forever. Just dump trucks working back and forth.
Well, people like that type of,
Wow, nice compressor, Daniel says. Yeah, that's a big power compressor.
Yeah. If you saw it, you'd be saying like, oh yeah.
Don't give away all of our secrets, Jimmy.
Yeah, okay.
That fan mail can come down,
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I actually think it's been up there for quite a while.
Okay, Jimmy, you ready?
Yes, I am ready.
So let's see how tight you have that first. It has to be tight, right? You don't want it rolling.
No.
Is that what you guys?
Now, this is an important lesson, I think.
It is. Because this isn't going to be able to go in here. No. I can try one, but I'm not even going to try.
No.
Because it doesn't have the power to do what I want it to do, which is you have to be careful when you do this. You don't want to be in front of this when you do this. You want to be on the side. Okay. What you want to do is you want to line the head of the gun up, push it in before you go near the trigger. And try to get a staple. You're trying to catch just the edge, the skin, the burlap, just the edge a little bit. You don't have to go crazy. You can do it like every 2 or 3 inches. Be careful when you do this because you could slip.
Now, but tell them why that you do it on both sides.
You need to get it tight. So what some people do, what they used to do in the old days, before the pneumatic staple gun, they used to tack this on, and the head of the tack, a 14-ounce tack, you want to put it in. You almost want to pinch the inside. So you actually have little divots showing here. That's actually good because that's what gets it tight. As a matter of fact, I can do one tack. Let's do a tack in there, Jimmy. Okay. Just to show people the old way of doing it.
And what was that? A what? 14-ounce tack?
Yeah.
Okay. This is an upholstery shop?
No, I don't think they have 14 ounce. I think people might like this. I'm gonna put it in first just to show. So you usually put 2 series of tacks, rows of tacks. And then, you'd be going like every 2 inches with the 14 ounce
Okay.
tacks. And then in between that, then you start to refine it a little bit
Okay.
and come out a little bit. So even that one, just one point here. Put another one in. Remind me to order 14 ounce tacks. This is
I
the
think I might
last
have
one.
no, do I have an order? I have to put an order as well.
So you see a little divot there. That's actually good. So what I'm going to do now, Jimmy,
Okay.
just finish up a little bit, if you don't mind.
No? You show the lesson.
I have the big staples in there too. And also another thing that I'm doing is I'm adjusting this. I'm adjusting this a little bit because it was out in some areas.
Okay.
We just wanted to get that front edge done. So a lot of people don't realize is the hammer, the mallet, the wooden mallet we use. One of the uses is just to kind of go like this. Go like this. You got a nice edge there.
Mhm.
Good job, Jimmy.
Thank you.
So let's just catch up and see if there's any more questions or comments. Daniel said it is a Milwaukee compressor or a drift air compressor. Tacks were the way I was taught to put on edge roll, Randy says. Definitely in the old days, that's what we did. The staples, though, speed us up a little bit, Randy. I mean, if we were doing museum, authentic museum quality, we would be doing the tacks. And I think that's going to wrap it up, Jimmy. We're going to leave Jimmy. We're going to leave you with Jimmy live for a little while to show a master at work.
A master one.
And Jimmy, be looking at Jimmy's class coming up. 23 weeks of Jimmy, if you can stand it, you guys.
Hey!
Coming up soon. And thank you guys for joining in. Really appreciate it. And don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already on the YouTube channel. And please, if you're not on the online classes, you might want to try that. I'm sure you'll learn something even if you have been upholstering for a while. And I hope to see you again soon. Thanks a lot.